We learn to live by how we play. So you run down, straight down the street until you got to the back bumper of the blue Impala, and then you turned out to the curb, and the quarterback would throw the ball and try to get it to you before you hit the curb, and you'd catch the ball and you'd get your toes in, and that's how you made a catch. I mean, I was Rodman before Rodman was Rodman. In football, this is counterintuitive. I was a passionate Dallas Cowboy fan. Yeah, I feel the judgment already. I just feel the judgment already. How many times did I have to get into a fight over being a Boston Celtics fan in the Bronx? I have something about the underdog. I can't stand the favorite. Can't stand it. And so the iconic image is him hopping down the first base line, doing like this, trying to beg that it stay fair. Because if it's fair, he's got the home run. Boston survives another day to go back to Cincinnati and see if they can win this series. And legendary first baseman Chris Chambliss hit a walk-off home run to send the Yankees to the World Series in 1976. And this was another iconic home run in that by the time Chambliss was rounding the bases as he hit the home run, all the fans in Yankee Stadium came down on the field. And he's literally having to fight his way through the fans before he got around the bases and got home. But that's how I became a Cowboy fan. Okay. They weren't America's team yet. They weren't successful when I came. They were an underdog. They were an underdog against Minnesota. They were an underdog against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And in all cases, they just played their hearts out and they did it right. And Tom Landry was a visionary and it was just great. Because that's the thing about sports. You live and die with your team. I don't know what's worse, the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. But it's a part of what makes it fun. It wasn't a great play. It was the only play. That's why, as Emmitt Smith said, the worst call in Super Bowl history. Robert Ory knocks Steve Nash essentially underneath the scorer's table. He just comes and goes, and Steve Nash goes flying underneath the scorer's table. To have a series that good, that hotly contested, be decided, be influenced by profound suspensions that was done strategically, that Ory's foul was purposeful. I mean, he took a cheap shot at Steve Nash that would engender anyone trying to protect Nash. Terrell Owens, in one particular game, in Texas Stadium, with our big Lone Star on the 50-yard line. This dude, for every touchdown he scored, he would take the ball and run all the way out to the Lone Star and stand in the middle of the Lone Star, 80,000 fans in Texas Stadium, and lift his arms up, thanking God like he owned the announcer says, Jackie Smith must be the sickest man in America. Yes, it was that bad. And on the next play, the Cowboys kicked a field goal. So instead of getting 7 points, they got 3, and they lost by 4. He jammed his shoulder into the ground as he was tackling with all that momentum. And it severely dislocated his shoulder. He should have been out of the game, but he didn't come out of the game. And you could tell. I mean, this arm was dead. They popped it back in, but it was a severely dislocated shoulder. And to see him battle through that pain and the way he was productive in the second half, and on the final drive in overtime that allowed the Cowboys to win the game, you'd be blown away. And what Lyritz was able to do was, even though he had already lost the power of his hips, they were already open. He held back his wrists in real time and slowed the bat head down and made contact with that 86-mile-per-hour fastball. And he hit the back wall of the bullpen. Bucky Dent hits a 3-run home run into the screen over the big green monster in Fenway Park. Life expectancy by income in America. I will put the link to a file that shows you by every income level. But here's the highlights of that. For the bottom 1% of earners in our society, their life expectancy for men is 72.7 years, and for women is 78.8 years. For the top 1% of earners in our society, the life expectancy for men is 87.3 years. The cost of losing is living less. Full stop. This is how Serve and Protect becomes an 8-minute and 46-second snuff film.